Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here, and welcome to Wizard Watch, the weekly show where we look at the good, the bad, and the wizardry moments from this week's episode of SmackDown. Now, to be honest with you, this week's episode of SmackDown is all about one man, that man, the man of the moment, in, of course, Edge, celebrating his 25 years in WWE. And what more can you say about the man? I mean, alone, this has got to be the wizardry moment from tonight's show. He had a banger of a match, no pun intended, actually pun intended, against Sheamus. And is this, of course the question remains, is this Edge's last match in WWE? It sure looks like it, and you can already see, can't you, the post coming out, the links with AEW and all of that. But the truth is, we don't know what the future holds for Edge, and it sounds like even Edge needs to have a discussion with his family to work out what the future holds. Many fans want to see Edge and Christian paired up once again, and of course that could only happen really via AEW. But at the moment, Christian is a monster heel in AEW alongside Luchasaurus, claiming that he is the TNT champion, and I can't really see that being a fit for 49-year-old Edge at this stage, but who knows? You know, who knows what the future holds. I'd love to see him see out a PLE final match in WWE. I think that would be more fitting, but it certainly seems that this is Edge's last match in Canada in WWE. What do you think? And of course, on the topic, I got to ask you, the viewers, the subscribers of this channel, what does Edge mean to you in WWE? For me, I really got into the Edge character back in 2005, 2006, the sort of heel run from Edge. I remember back in 2004 when he beat Randy Orton at Vengeance for the IC title. And then from that moment on, you took him as a credible singles superstar. And for me, heel Edge was the best Edge. Got so many moments. If Edge was to have a final match, we knew for certain that was definitely the case. For me personally, I'd love to have it against Randy Orton. I think that would be absolutely mega. Who would be your pick? Do you think this is the last we've seen of Edge in WWE? Head down in the comments section. Now, of course, on this show, it was all about Edge, so there wasn't really that much going on in the show, but I haven't got any bad moments from tonight's show, so I'm just going to go through all the good, starting with the Grayson Waller effect. This show, this superstar in Grayson Waller, he's killing it. I just love the fact he said, I was pretty much waiting for Edge to show up and thank me for making him relevant again. And then Beth Phoenix sort of piped up and he said, don't worry, you know, I love hot mums and all of that. And Grayson Waller is killing it. Of course, having Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar on the show, sort of stirring the pot, trying to cause some friction, a rift between the two of them. That didn't work. And out of nowhere, Austin Theory came out, generated some heat, sort of wanted a rematch really against Rey. Didn't feel that Rey deserved to have the belt because originally he wasn't supposed to be in the match. That was supposed to be Santos Escobar. And then of course, on top of that, with a monster pop, you get LA Knight come out and challenge Austin Theory to a match for the #1 contendership for the US title. Now, you had Miz ringside, Miz on commentary. We kind of knew that was going to happen from what he said on Raw, and it was actually Miz that cost LA Knight the match for that #1 contendership. So of course, we're going to continue that feud between the Miz and LA Knight, and I'm all down for it. And of course, Austin Theory is going to get a shot back for that US title against Rey Mysterio. Of course, the question mark remains, is Santos Escobar down the line going to turn on Rey Mysterio? At this point, doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like there's any trouble in paradise. But of course, there's more layers to this storyline that will play out throughout. Really, really decent segment. Loved it. Next up, we got what delivered, to be honest with you, in a women's tag match where we got Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair teaming up. You never thought you'd see that in a million years, would you? Against Bayley and Io Sky. Dakota Kai was around. She's still on TV at the moment, which I'm loving, even with the ACL injury. And what a match it was. It really showcased Io Sky. And I think this is mainly the purpose here, to make Io Sky look like an absolute weapon. Sort of someone that could be on par with Bianca Belair or Charlotte Flair. But it was actually Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair that got the victory. The KOD, of course, on Bayley. Bayley eating the pin. And I love this dynamic because you got Bayley trying to still be the dominant one within Damage Control. But Io's kind of like, well, hang on a minute, I'm the champ here. And even Dakota's a little bit like, So you do sort of know that there's this tease, this friction, potential breakup down the line. Not just yet, Of course, they want to add more layers to this as they go along. But it was actually a vicious Io Sky that took out Bianca Belair with a chair, took out a knee. Of course, Damage Control played a part in that attack. Well, mainly Bayley and Io Sky. But Io Sky just snapped. She went crazy. And, you know, if you're going to push Io Sky down the line as a babyface, they're really pushing her as a heel at the moment. And I'm kind of digging it. It just makes me get more behind the Io Sky character. And I'm liking this for Bianca Belair because it writes her off TV for a while. She can come back and maybe we get a gimmick change potentially. I'd love personally to see a heel Bianca Belair. I think she'd be menacing, like lethal in WWE that way. The fact she's just snapped, she's had enough. And this just fills the gap for WWE till that time to kind of think about what they're going to do with the Bianca Belair character when she returns. We also got a brief matchup between the Street Profits and the OC. The newly kind of spiced up Street Profits, the slickened Street Profits, and they got the victory. And one thing that really stood out to me was this new finishing maneuver. Like, what would you call that? That was absolutely badass. Loving the presentation, loving the fact that they're aligning themselves alongside Bobby Lashley. Big money, Bob. And it's just a breath of fresh air. Really intrigued to what happens moving forward. Are there going to be new members added potentially to this incoming faction? What do you think? And we can't wrap things up without talking about Paul Heyman. He just continues to deliver even when the Bloodline storyline isn't centerpiece of SmackDown. Obviously this is all about Edge tonight's show. Paul Heyman just makes you intrigued, doesn't he? I love the tension between him and Kayla Braxton. She really pokes the bear when it comes to Paul Heyman, doesn't she? She tries to get every ounce of information she can, and she was trying to do just that, asking about the Bloodline, essentially trying to dig at what's going on with Jimmy. And then Paul got this mysterious call, and then he confirms that Jimmy Uso is going to be on next week's episode of SmackDown. Did you also notice Paul reference indirectly LA Knight as well? Is that potentially a tease for maybe an interaction between LA Knight and Roman Reigns way down the line? I'm talking, not just yet, I'm talking like post WrestleMania next year and all of that. But if they continue with this trajectory with LA Knight, who knows? Imagine him opposing Roman Reigns. Just imagine the promos. They would be fire. Love Paul Heyman's digs at Kayla Braxton's family as well. Like, he goes low, doesn't he, when he wants to. And I love the fact that Kayla always gets the information out of Paul. It's always really intriguing. I love the dynamic, the duo, Paul and Kayla. It just works. What did you think about tonight's show anyway? Obviously, this is all about Edge. And share your thoughts and opinions on the career of Edge and what it meant to you. I know I mentioned it earlier in the video, but it's just great to hear what he meant as a character to you, because he's an absolute living legend. And I will miss him if this was his last day in WWE. If he goes elsewhere, I'll continue to watch him, of course, but we'll have to wait and see. And as always, thank you so much for watching this video. It'd be really appreciated if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new. And we'll catch you in the next one.